305G. I bought this used years ago. It's only got 1,400 hours on it. I think it had 600 or 700 hours on it when I bought it. I use it quite a bit in different areas that, you know, tight spots where I couldn't get my rig into. In areas I could pull up with my truck and have the crane pick this up and set it on site, and I have a cart for it that I roll it around on, and I had a little welding skid for it that I could lock it up and have a fully lockable welding skid for on site. So I got some good use out of it. It had like 700 hours. Now it's got like 1,400 hours, so I put like 700 hours on it, I guess. But then it's been sitting for a long time. I went to get it out of storage. There's just one capacitor that's blowing up on the board, so I got a new board put in it, and she's good to go. These 305Gs are incredible little machines. If you know, you know. So what I'm going to do is just spruce up the looks on this old girl and put her back into service. Give you the sand and final wipe, and they'll be ready for color. Okay, some motor wash and some wiping, and this thing came out good. So these here, I'm surprised how well these came back. Like, these were friggin' brown and not see-through since like 2015 when I bought this. Bit of motor wash, bit of wiping, came back not bad. This was pretty much not see-throughable. Wiped it with some Varsol, and then I took toothpaste and a paper towel and I really scrubbed it, and it's not bad. I got the lenses off of here. They're over there. Yeah, just some motor wash. Sprayed some motor wash on it and wiped it a few times, and took all the brown off of these. Took the brown off of these. Like, it brought this panel back like crazy. So I'll show you another trick here. So over your screens for your volts and amps, you got these little covers, and then they have great little plastic covers. You can just take a regular welding lens here, just your standard clear welding lens, and cut out new pieces to go in there to replace these ones. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spray it all down with some SC1, this Maxima here, this magic spray, and we'll spray it down with that, and it's going to look brand new on the front. I don't know if I have any pictures of how it looked when it first came here, but it sat in storage for like 5 years, so like, it just looks so terrible. It's going to come back looking like new. And ta-da! Didn't see that one coming, did ya? Yeah. You know? Blue? Blue. Something different. So the side covers and the top is painted with Flex Seal. We'll see how good it works. It's supposed to be chemical resistant. We'll see how good it holds up. I know the gravel guard I used before, when you spilled gas, like, it'd screw up all the gravel guard. The gas would like wash it all off. So hopefully this holds up better, because this is the outside side you're going to see on the truck. It's the gas side, so hopefully it stands up. We'll see. It's an experiment. Can't believe how good that front panel cleaned up. Look at that. Yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna eventually take Big Blue off here within the next week or so, or two, and to put on the 305G Ranger and run that for a while. Put it through its paces, and if it's working good, I want to get a wireless remote put on it, and we'll be dialed. So pretty excited about that. Friday morning, rolling into work a bit late this morning because I had to go to the weld supply, pick up my 305G. I put a new voltmeter in it and a wireless remote, so that's sweet. So yeah, I got probably a good week's of work left, so yeah, that's good. Worked out. I'm gonna get a good week of running on the old Ranger, just to really shake it down good before I feel confident with swapping it out for Big Blue and having the Ranger as my primary machine on my truck. So let's go play with that new remote. It's just a regular machine like it always is, a remote. When you go off, that's off, and the remote on, that's the remote. So you gotta remember to shut that off at the end of every night. And on the remote, you have 3 outputs. So you can go a stick, MIG or TIG mode. Switch it right on the control. Sweet, you get your full range of amperage and voltage right on there. It's up and down too. And it's, man, I've been running this for 10 minutes already, and I already just, it's the best. The Miller Pipe Pros and the Miller 400s with the wireless interface controls, and now they got them on the Trailblazers. Those things are incredible. The presets in them, unreal. This is a close second, but it doesn't have that preset ability. But these have a way better range, way farther range than the Miller remotes. These things are nuts. My buddy has one on his Vantage, and like, whew, man, it's crazy how far this thing will freaking reach. So way better than the stock Miller one. Yeah, and I'm glad we're running the Lincoln again, man. Fuck, I love Rangers. It's been a long time since I ran a Ranger. Man, they're so great. So if I would have chose to go into a shop that I have access to, I could have just traced out the shape of the welder on the table, traced out the shape, just drew a line 1 inch around, bigger than the welder, drew out the shape of this, laid it out, drew it out, got my shape for my parts. Would have been easy, but no, I decided to do it in my backyard, in the back of my truck for some reason, or my front yard, in my driveway. So, since I have tube, I just tacked it square, and then sat this on top of the welder, and then measured, you know, my 1 inch gap around, got my marks, then I got that laid out. So what I did was I cut this side on my both pieces. I got 2 of these, see, so I cut through this side, then I'm going to flip it over, set it down, tack this to here so it holds its shape. And then I got to cut more of these and then fit them in and tack them together and cut the tacks. Do that twice. And that should be that fit up. Well, winter came. We're hitting those super cold deep freeze temperatures, minus 22 Celsius by this week. So this project just has got to get done. So I might just cut it short, get it done to the minimum, and worry about the rest after. And a notch out there. It was kind of an oversight because this wasn't really pre-planned too much. I'm just winging it. So I'm going to cut out a notch there and add in a piece so an acetylene bottle can sink right down. And for the purpose of getting this done faster, I bought a propane holder that's just going to weld down there when it comes in. So it'll be acetylene or propane, acetylene. I'm going to put a simple bar across there to strap the acetylene bottle to. I think that'll be it. And then I'll try to clear out a spot in the garage and try to get some heat going and get this thing painted. Couple of minutes with the zip disc and a cone stone. Yeah, that's nice. That'll be perfect. Excellent. Coldest day of the freaking year so far this year. It's talking about minus 18 Celsius on the thermometer. Cold. It's a day that I picked to freaking be painting. So I'm just heading out. I'm gonna buy some painting supplies. And gonna go home, see if I can get some heat going in the garage enough to start painting. piss Haley off. I'm going to show up at his place of business at the end of the day and demand forklift operations. So let's go. I gave him a call. He didn't answer. I'm just going to show up and see if we can get that big blue 500 forklifted off here. Well, the gate's open and Haley's truck's in the yard, so that's a good start. Yeah. Go home. I might have time to set that frame in and see if it fits. All right. 305G owned. Whoop. Got a nice little, just over an inch gap all the way around. That's a propane bottle rack that I bought. I just wanted to get the job done. Didn't feel like building. Could have built something, but I was like, oh, I got to roll a ring, and so I just bought this. But I got to modify it. I got to shorten the strap, lower it. I don't know. Cost a bunch of money. Took forever to come in, but anyways, I got a propane bottle holder there. So I'm quick draw on the propane for my Tiger torch. Got the slot here from the acetylene bottle. At first I did it for aesthetics, thinking that I had to widen the welder out, lengthen it so that you couldn't see in there and look weird, but it's pretty blocked, that acetylene bottle. So with the propane there, it'll be fine. Aesthetically, I don't think I need to put the bottle there. I'll just be taking it from there and putting it there. But I guess I got a spot for another bottle now. Put their bottles behind their welders like that, because when you're welding in cold weather, the heat from the welder blows on your acetylene bottle and keeps it warm, and so you don't lose all your bottle volume from the cold. So my other weld, the big blue with the Deutz, air-cooled Deutz, it sucked air in here, and it blew its air out here. It blew its hot air out here, so it was blowing hot air kind of towards the bottle. It was kind of a gap, but they did blow hot air towards the bottle. So if I put it here in the winter, I get the benefit of the hot air blowing on my bottle. So I just have it that's in there, and then I just put a ratchet strap around there. I put another strap around the whole thing for safety, but yeah, there's that. So I just have to put a roof on here, add a panel in there to keep snow out, and then I'm going to sheet this in between there. Close that in, keep the crackheads out, make it look good. And if I can, I would like to have everything attached to this sloop, to this frame, so then I can just pick it up, because it has the same footprint as my big blue. So it's just quick change from one welder to the other. It's, I can swap welders out easily and not have to change a bunch of stuff. So, and I might put some kind of bar thing or something with hooks to hang cords. Maybe, I don't know, I'll see. I was going to do it off of that, but I think it's a little bit too far. But yeah, it is cold. Just trying to get this little bit finished up here. So I got that panel in there. Get the top lid. I have the piece for the lid sitting over there. This is the top part of the frame for the top lid. It's too cold to try to paint it or anything, so I just put a layer of Gorilla Tape on top of the angle iron just to create a barrier between the aluminum and the steel, you know. This here, I got 3 volts. Propane rack's drilled and tapped. I just got to cut this and shorten it because it came too long for some reason. So I got to rebend that, cut that, and rebend it, make this an inch shorter. All right, so you see I took a piece of aluminum, 11 gauge, 1/8 aluminum, just scored it on the inside with a zip disc, bent it, this little gap there. And here's the top frame I just showed you. Here's the lid, so that's just going to sit on there. I'm going to rivet it down in a few spots, and that enclosure will be done, and then that can't fill with snow anymore. Alright, so that's the top on. The rivets aren't set yet, but drilled in. Pretty decent seal there, not bad. Alright, don't want it touching because you don't want it vibrating, but so there's that top lid. So there's that. I had to heat that and rebend it, shorten it up. Now I just gotta take a zip disc and cut that bend off. Sheesh. There, that's much better. See, got that much adjustment left? Yeah. It was way too long before. I'd almost like to cut a slot in this, a rectangle in this, and weld a tab to that strap so I have a tab so I can pin that so it doesn't, right, for a safety. Oh no. I've been thinking that since the day I bought it. Cut a slot out in here, have a tab that goes through and welds onto the black strap so I can pin. So this can't ever come off while driving on the road. Catching the deck out of the line. Catching that out of the line. Whoa. Roll this weld here. Got a wild apparatus here. My counterweight. Here's my L fixture. Roll this weld on in. Alright, so I have it to the button and the button. There's a little crater there, but that's okay. That's the side facing the welder that you can't see. Put the ugly side at the back. Whoop. Put the nice side at the front. And yeah. Gotta blaze this one out. Flip this thing around. Alright, I got these pins here. They're I don't know how big they are. Inch and a quarter pins. I ground notches in them, and I found these in my bolt drawer. It's from the metric bolts. I ground a slot so they can engage in there. These will weld into the pipes for lock bolts, and then these will weld onto my deck for nubs to whoop, slide that headache rack into. You'll see. Alright, so welded in. Those are the nubs. Flat spot corresponds with the bolt. You know, that's in there. So now these nubs weld there and there. Alright, so there's the nubs welded on. Welded on there and there, you see? So when the rack is off, so they're not in the way of anything. Got that one centered between the bolts. Those are the two bolts for the Big Blue 500 to bolt on, but I just use one bolt for the 305G. Yeah. So, not bad. So, it's pretty decent distance to reach. So I got to put a row of hooks, probably 4 hooks, probably 4 hooks. Big round bar hooks. So a row of hooks across. I have another different cable to extend this remote to about here. I'm just going to build a bracket here and U-bolt these 2 cables here. So I got quick attached to my 2 auxiliary remote cables. So they're not from remote, but they're auxiliary cables, I guess. So there. Oh yeah. Okay. Here's my initial drawing for the hooks. And then I made 4 hooks. They're all pretty close to each other. I didn't make a jig or nothing. I just made them all individually and adjusted them after, but they're pretty dang close. So let's get these hooks spread out here and on straight and tacked on. That is not bad for doing them one at a time with no jig. Not bad at all. So here's what I got for now. So that's been on there forever. I bought this sick impact to run my chuck, and the welder's got a true remote. I can't see my camera, but anyways, whoop, right there's the antenna. Right there's the antenna for the true remote. So the welder's got a wireless remote. Got that. Added this with 4 hooks. So, and then I got this here hooked up to my welder. So in here is my cable reels. So I have 120 feet of cable on each in there, plus 50-foot extensions. But then I also have this teed off, so I can have 15 feet of cable here that are dedicated over here. So I got 15 feet of cable off the back of my truck. Then basically 170 I can take out the spools to the workplace. So if I'm spooled out some more work, I come back and work on parts in the back of my truck and have that set up. Yeah, so there's the 305G skid. Paint's a bit banged up. I had another machine strapped to this. I painted this and this in the winter when it was cold. I was having a hard time with heat and stuff, so the paint didn't really bond too good to that, so it was very delicate. I think now that it's warming up, it's starting to cure, but that's okay. I'll have to do some paint touch-ups, paint this. It's all good. It's aluminum enclosure. I left the plastic protective film on it for now. That's the Flex Seal. So this frame £2,000 crane. Yeah, and I'd like to maybe build something better for a grinder stand. I have a Javelin magnetic grinder stand that I can clip here, and I have another grinder stand that's on just on a tri-stand too. So I got grinder stand options. It's my 6-inch chuck wheel. Yeah, so sick. So that's cool. Got the 305G with the true remote. All painted up. Got a nice cage, little sloop belt. Got this headache rack thing belt with hooks. These remotes. And I got a nice heavy 3-wire extension cord or short chunk. I'm gonna wire that up so that can go in there, and I could have an extension cord here I can just plug my 3-way splitter into. So working out the back of the truck's just gonna be wicked. So none of this changed since last time, but here's my cable reels. 2-aught cable, 120 feet of each, 100 feet of gas hose, 100 feet of extension cord at the 3-way end. There's the cord for my plug-in the extension cord right there. I have more of this wire, so I'll make another cord that goes through underneath there. Woo! For working out the back of my truck power. There's an adapter on that plug. the 220. See, I just haven't branched off. There's the true remote switch. You can put it the Lincoln panel, so it's just normal. When you put the true remote on, then everything's controlled off the remote from that point on. So it's pretty sweet. 100 feet of oxyacetylene, 50 feet of air, 60 CFM screw compressor, air tank, 2,000-pound crane, and there's the aluminum roof I added. So this panel comes off when I switch it to the big blue. Ended up being a long project. This project started off, the concept of the project started off early last summer, mid last summer, and then yeah, it's pretty well done. It's getting there, and it's like it's the spring now. It's the end of March, so oh well. Slowly come together, working with it here and there, and very happy with it. So that's the 305G Ranger conversion and a few add-ons to the old rig. Really happy with it. It's sweet. And it's nice how now it's kind of modular. I can switch Big Blue 500 or 305 Ranger back and forth, quick change, and I'll have a trailer to put them onto. Well, I got to build a trailer yet. But yeah, I'll leave it with that for now. And if there's any more mods in the future, which I'm sure there will be, once I get this all buttoned up, maybe we'll do an update.